Just thought I would emphasize a few quotes. These are all towards the end of the speech, and I thought that they would be worth emphasizing. Obviously, these videos are not meant to be comprehensive. You have to read the whole thing, and especially this document. I think you need to read the whole thing. Start with this quote at the top. For black men, there is neither law nor justice, humanity nor religion. I think that in a way, puts everything in context for this course. That is, we've been reading freedom documents, Kant's What is Enlightenment, the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen, the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights. All of them promise freedom, and all of them are dedicated to representative government, respect for the individual, protection of human rights, and allowing for every individual to live a life in the pursuit of happiness. But what Douglas, I think, is pointing out here is that none of that applies to black people in America, free or enslaved. But is that it's a lie, more or less. And it's a lie because it doesn't apply, it doesn't do, if all men are created equal, endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, if that is meant to apply to all human beings, then it's a lie because it doesn't. Because for black people in America, there is no law. There's no protection under law. There's no justice. They have no rights. There's no humanity. That is, there's no recognition of their worth as individuals, nor is there any religion. I mean, a lot of this work is really condemning American religious institutions for being complicit in barbarity, in the savage repression and torture of black people in America, not standing up for Christianity. So none of the institutions that are meant in human society to promote and protect the dignity of the individual are being applied. So it's a sham, basically. And that's what he says in the next quote. The existence of slavery in this country brands your republicanism. Remember, republicanism is not Republican partyism. It's the dedication to a republic, which is the idea that the people rule themselves through representatives and that the government is meant to protect their rights. That the existence of slavery in this country brands your republicanism as a sham, your humanity as a base pretense, and your Christianity as a lie. There could be no more radical and comprehensive condemnation of American society than that. But I think that it's important that this document is not just condemning America. This document is not just pointing out the moral outrage. Much of it is, and that's very important. But it is also saying that there is a future, that there's a possibility of things better. And I think it's very important that he refers to the Constitution of the United States, which he calls a glorious liberty document. He does not believe that the Constitution condoned slavery. Slavery is not mentioned in the Constitution, as he says. There is nothing in the Constitution of the United States, in the original Constitution, he says that that slavery is okay in America. And so what that does, I think, is leads or gives us a sense of hope that we need to go back to the first principles of the country, which are sound, I think, in his mind. That is, the principles of the Declaration of Independence, the principles of the Constitution of the United States are sound and good principles to found a country on. It's just that the existence of slavery and racial prejudice generally is, in his mind, is something that that smothers those principles, that makes a lie of those principles. But we don't really need new principles. We need to live up to the principles that we say that we have in this country. And I think he has a lot of hope. He says, after that, he says, but a change has now come over the affairs of mankind. And what he's talking about is we're entering into a new stage in the whole world, not just in America, but in the whole world, and a stage in the world where the kind of things like slavery in a particular place, America, can no longer be hidden and covered up. That a light, as he said, is dawning, where the contradictions like that, where you have so-called free societies that are dedicated to the preservation of the rights of all individuals, human beings, also have rank contradictions, where prejudice, slavery, barbarity, savagery, and the denial of those rights to a portion of human beings, it can no longer be covered up. In a sense, this new light is dawning, and so he says towards the end, almost the very end, no abuse, no outrage, whether in taste, sport, or avarice, can now hide itself from the all pervading light. That something new is coming. And it was, I guess. I mean, one thing that was coming was the Civil War that would end slavery. It would, of course, not end racial prejudice and oppression and racism and injustice, but a new age was coming. So I don't think this document can be said to just be a completely negative one. It has a negative purpose. The purpose is to tell the truth about what America is really like from the perspective of Frederick Douglass, right? He is telling the truth. He is being honest and candid. And he feels that candor is absolutely necessary. You can't sort of put things in a nice way, or he's not trying to spare anybody's feelings here, because he thinks that the time has passed for that, that the injustice of slavery, the suffering that it causes is too great. But that it's not just a condemnation, it is also a notion that there is a way forward, and that there is a possibility of hope. And it is saying, we have to change the country, but change it in line with what we know to be our true values, and live those values out. So, what an astounding document this is. Really, really something.